Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sonita, and today we'll be talking about how to choose a mate. How to choose a mate is something that I would say is a little bit difficult in our society today, or it is something that people don't take out time to do. And one thing they do not realize is that is the reason or the reasons why they are having failed marriages, or they end up having an ex. Why? Because they did not plan. They always say that if you fail to plan, then you're preparing to fail, right? Now I came up with some steps, like some various steps on how you can actually choose a mate, but it's different, right? It's different from me, it's different from you, and it's different depending on what you know, or what you have been told, or what you have been taught so far. But these ones that I've set out for you, I believe is going to help you in one way or the other. So let us get right into those steps. Now, the first step you have to do in order for you to choose a suitable spouse for you, or in order for you to choose a mate, these are the various steps. But the first step is that you have to have the picture of the marriage you desire. What kind of marriage do you want? Have a picture of it in your mind. Don't just That is why I always say that any relationship, not I though, but a lot of marriage counselors have said this, and I believe them. Any relationship that is not gearing to marriage is not something to begin. And I always say that if you're getting into a relationship without the purpose, without the aim of getting married, then that relationship is uncalled for. It's uncalled for. The reason why so many people um have their heart broken is because they did not plan. Like, really, they did not plan. They do not plan in the beginning. They do not even know what they were not. First of all, the reason why they have those problems, right, is because they were not even thinking about marriage. What was in their mind was, let us see, or friends with benefits, or let me just go and enjoy. So they were not thinking about marriage. But if from the onset you're thinking about marriage, you don't just enter any relationship like that. Get what I'm saying? You don't just enter any relationship like that. Now, like I said, the first step is for you to be able to know the kind of marriage you want. What is the kind of marriage you desire? Is it a marriage where there will be a lot of, like, I don't know, everybody will go and become a Muslim, like I don't know your picture. Or is it that kind of marriage where your family is serving God? Like, you are married, you are a wife, you are serving God, your husband is serving God, your children are serving God because they can see the examples that you and your husband bring. Is that the kind of marriage you want? What is your picture? What is your ideal picture about marriage? That's the first thing you have before thinking about relationship. The first thing you must be able to have in your mind, like, it must be certain, is the picture you want, the kind of marriage you want. So right now that you're thinking of dating, or you're forced into a dating scene because of your friends or peer pressure, right? Do you have the picture of the marriage you want? Do you have that? I don't know how to say this, but do you have the picture of the kind of marriage you desire? So the first step is to have the picture of the kind of marriage you desire. Have a vision of the kind of marriage you want. Okay, that's the first step. Have the vision. Now, in this thing, like, no, okay, in this thing, right, once you are having that, once you actually have that vision, right, you already have the kind of marriage, you already know the kind of marriage you desire. Now ask yourself that your character, what you have in you, can it sustain the marriage you desire? The way you think, can it sustain that marriage? Are you ready for the kind of marriage you desire? That is like, The second thing, it is still in the first category, right? The first category, have a picture of the kind of marriage you desire, and then ask yourself that, are you suited for that marriage? Are you suited for that marriage? Do you have the character that it needs to sustain that marriage? That is the thing you need to ask yourself in that first process. You need to ask yourself that, can you sustain that marriage? Maybe you want a hardworking man, but you are not a hardworking woman. How is it going to go? Like, how are you going to cope in a marriage where your husband is the only one who is hardworking and you're not hardworking? How is it going to happen? You want a marriage that your children will be able to go to school, right? And then you're like, you're not hardworking enough to be able to, like, at least to assist your husband or to make things a little bit easy for your husband, so that at least you'll be able to provide for the family, expect it to work. So once you already have the image, ask yourself, are you equipped for that marriage that you desire? Now, as you're thinking about yourself and asking yourself, do I have what it takes for that my dream marriage? Remember, not wedding, dream marriage, not dream wedding. Okay, wedding is for a day, marriage is for a lifetime. Now, the third thing you should ask yourself, still in that first category, is, does the man that I like, the man that my heart is beating for, does he has what it takes to suit that marriage that I want? You know, a man can be tall, black, and handsome, but he's not the kind of man you need for that marriage you desire. He might be tall, black, handsome, he even has the money, but he does not have the character that sustains the marriage you desire. He does not have. So ask yourself, does that man have what I need in my marriage? Like, is he like, if you have an ideal marriage, you must have an ideal husband, and you must definitely have an ideal wife, because it's two people who make the marriage to work. So if you have the ideal marriage, check yourself, are you the ideal wife? And check the partner or the person you like or you're crushing on, is he the ideal man for that marriage? All right, so that's the first thing you need to settle out. It's almost like a personal question, like some personal question you need to carry out. So that's the first thing. Now the second thing is, you need to ask you need to consume godly marital materials. You need to consume godly materials concerning marriage. You need to consume godly marriage materials, right? What do I mean by that? You need to go to marriage seminars. You need to read books concerning marriages. You need to, your friends, the kind of people you keep around you, have to be people who are at least married. You must not have like 10 friends who are married. At least just have 2 of them who are married and they fear God. Because you can have people who are married but they don't fear God. I'm talking, let me bring it back. I'm talking to my Christian folks here. I'm talking to my Christian folks. The ideal marriage you're supposed to have is a godly marriage. If you want a godly marriage, you need to have a godly man. If you want a godly marriage, you need to be a godly person. If you want a godly marriage, you need to study, read books about marriage where godly standards are mostly spoken about. You understand? You need to read informations. You need to read godly content regarding marriage or concerning marriage. You need to read those contents. You need to attend marriage seminars. I can tell you people that you can follow. Follow Vivian Achu. Follow there's another counselor, Yvette. I'll put everything in the description box. Follow these people. Follow Pastor Mildred Okonkwo. Like, if you have not followed this woman, if you're not following this woman, then I don't understand what you are doing. Follow Pastor Mildred Okonkwo and her husband, Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo. Follow the Winlows. Who again? Like, these are the 5 people that you should just follow. They are on Facebook. Some of them are on Instagram. Some of them are on Instagram. Follow these people. These are people who fear God and yet they will give you counsel depending on what God is saying and depending on what God approves. So follow those kinds of people. If you want to make a godly marriage, if you want your marriage to be a godly one, then follow these people. Follow these people. Read books concerning marriage that are approved to godly standard. Read those kind of books. Attend seminars. And somehow too, read the Bible and try to study those who have been married in the Bible, like Deborah, like Adam and Eve, like who again, like Boaz and Ruth, like Naomi, like Joseph and Mary. All of them had some godly standards in their union. They all had godly standards. Study them. Study them, because we represent Christ. We represent Christ everywhere, including including our marriage. So we need to consume godly content. And your Bible is the number one. Yes, your Bible is the number one. So make sure you read your Bible to understand how marriage works and to understand how God sees marriage, so that you can align yourself to what God is saying. Okay? So that is the second thing. The first thing was that you need to have a picture of the marriage you desire, and I've said some small things, some small topics on that. And the second thing is that you have to attend seminars, follow marriage counselors, have friends who are married and they honor God. That is the second thing. Have friends who are married and they honor God. Now the third thing is practice the character you will need in order to sustain your godly relationship. See, I earlier mentioned that we should study the Bible to really know how God sees marriage. And in one of those studies, you will see Proverbs 31 woman. Hey, auntie, you and I, let's sit. Are we, you and I, are we waking up early around 5 a.m.? Are we organized? Are you organized? Am I organized? Like, we need to look at those things and make sure that we are in alignment. We are in alignment. We are in alignment. So study the Bible, read the Bible, and know and struggle to align yourself to the godly standard of what a wife should be according to God. Align yourself to the godly standard of what a wife should be. See, the world will always make noise. That's why I said that you should follow God-fearing counselors, because there's a lot of noise in this world. That is why it is important to follow people who fear God. At least they know the way. At least they are following the way. So follow them also. So align yourself to the godly character that you see in the Bible, and to the godly character that the counselors are also talking about, because they might give references, and sometimes you might also see their life and say that, oh, this thing is good, I want to practice it. So you can practice. Okay, then along the line also / write down some qualities of a husband that you need. Because if you study the Bible, you will surely come across men who fear God. So write down those standards. Write it down. Okay? Write it down. So that's the third thing. The fourth thing is communicate. Ask vital questions. Now, these are for people who already have maybe a spouse, right? You already have a spouse. Now, what are you supposed to do? What you're supposed to do now is communicate vital questions. Ask important questions in your relationships. Ask like, what are your goals? Where are you going? What is your worldview? How do you see the world? Where are you going? Like, what did God say you should do? What is your assignment? These are important questions, so that you know where to fit in. You know how you can fit in. You know if His calling is something that you can handle. How He sees family. You need to see how He sees responsibility. You need to ask important questions. You need to ask important questions. You need to ask important questions so that you can know your compatibility in terms of character. please, not in preference like I love chocolate, he likes vanilla. No, that's not important. I'm talking about ask questions that will make you to see if your character is aligned with his character. You might not be the same, but at least you must have the same values, the same core values. You need to ask, what does he think about Christianity? Because so many times we are in the same Christian, we are all Christian, but we just see things differently. So you need to ask yourself that this, the way he sees Christianity, can I align myself with it? Can I align myself? Remember, the two people must agree. So ask important questions to see if there is an agreement between the two of you people. Ask important questions. There are other questions you need to ask that are important, like how, finance, something. But these are people who are, yes, that they're already like sure about getting married. But here we're like saying how to choose a mate. Yes, you can still ask important questions like finance, because at least you need to see how he's thinking about finance to see how you're going to cope. So in total, just ask relevant questions, please, in order to see if you can cope in marriage. Okay. Now the fifth thing is observe. The fifth step, observe. It is one thing to say something and it's another thing to practice what you have said. So your guy can, because you can be seen, he can be telling you something and yet his action does not align to what he's saying. Yes, action speaks louder than words. You must have heard this, and so I'm telling you again, action speaks louder than words. So if he's saying that this is how he sees life, this is how he views life, these are the decisions he's going to take, but you see that when he's exposed in a scene where he has to practice what he said, he's not able to practice it, my sister, run. Just run. Just know that he's not the one. Okay, he's not the one, because his words is supposed to align to his actions. That is why I said observe. Open your eyes to observe. Observe what is said and observe what is not said. Observe. That's the fifth thing. Now the sixth thing is have a godly counselor. Have a godly counselor or a mentor or your pastor, someone who fears God. Have those kind of people around you. And when you have them, I'm not just saying that you should just like move around them and just say no. Submit your relationship to them. Let them know that you're dating. Stop being secretive. Yes, it's not everybody who is supposed to know that you're in a relationship, but the important people, especially people who are going to pray for you, counsel you, and even ask the boy to come so that they ask him some certain questions, they have to know. They have to know. So if you have a counselor that is friendly with you and who is always willing to advise you, to counsel you, to pray for you, please always have that kind. Always be closer to that kind of a person. And even in your church, I'm sure that there is a marriage committee, right? And I'm thinking that if you're thinking about marriage, then it means you're matured enough for the responsibility it comes with. Right, you're matured enough for the responsibility it comes with. So you cannot be hiding as if you're doing something bad. No, you're supposed to own up for what you're starting, own up for what you are about to sign up for, right? So why are you keeping everything secret? Go to your marriage counselors in church and tell them that this is what is happening, or let him go and tell them that he's interested in a certain woman. That's how they do it in church, you see. So please have these people around you, because they can counsel you, they can advise you, they can help you, because the fact that you have met your best partner, if you're not yet married, you're not supposed to have sex, you understand? So these counselors or these mentors are going to tell you that, hey, don't do this, don't talk to this person at this certain time. Or if you're going to visit them and you know that something can happen between you and your partner, right, you can tell your counselor that, please, I'm about to go to this place. Then your counselor will say that, okay, if you're going, you must come back home at this time. I'm going to call you. If you're still in your fiance's house at this time, you have a problem with me. So they keep you accountable. In a nutshell, they keep you accountable. So have these mentors. They are like going to really guide you a lot. They are really going to guide you. So have these counselors, have these mentors, and above all, They must be God fearing. If you're planning, your marriage, or if the picture of the marriage, if the picture of the marriage you desire is a godly one, then you need to have godly counselors and godly friends. Please, godly counselors and godly friends. So we're talking about godly counselors, mentors, pastors that will pray for you and that will advise you and that will be able to see things that you cannot see because love has blinded you. No, not love, please. Feelings have blinded you. Yes, feelings have blinded you. Now the seventh and the most important, which is also our final point, is pray. Yes, pray. You cannot do it on your own. You cannot lean on your own understanding. A man can have all the qualities that you need, all the qualities that you know you need or you desire, but he's not the one for you. Maybe he comes into your life just to be your friend. Maybe he comes into your life just to be your boss, only your boss and nothing else. Sometimes we need to ask God why some people come into our lives. And you also have to pray, because if God says yes in that relationship, right, you have to ask God that, God, you said that I am a suitable helpmate. So what is that job I am coming to do in his life? You need to ask God. You need to lean on God in order to have directives, in order to know exactly what you're supposed to do. You need to lean on God. You need to lean on God so that he can expose some things that you might not have seen, or even your counselors might not have seen it. You need to lean on God. Prayer is the highest thing, because there are some things you just cannot see. There are some things you just cannot see. So this is it. These are the 7 things, 7 ways I believe that one should take in order to choose a mate. So I hope this blesses you. See you in another video. Bye.